Greetings, cohort 2 members. I hope that you have had a very relaxing and rejuvenating spring break. And I hope that your students have had a wonderful time away from school. And I hope that we are all gearing to go as we embark upon Module 4. We are now at the halfway point of our introductory equity course. We are looking at our fourth module of the curriculum, though it's our fifth module in the course. But our fourth module of the curriculum focuses on the equity guiding principle of student-centered, or our ability to promote student-centeredness throughout our courses. And so there are 5 things that I'm going to ask you to do. Task 1 is to view, read, and reflect on relevant research. And there are 5 ways that I'm asking you to engage in that. First, I'm asking you to read the short article. It's a 5-page article entitled Building a Student-Centered Culture in Times of Natural Disaster, a case study. And although this took place in West Kentucky back in 2009, we are facing a pandemic. And so, similar to the natural disaster that this community college dealt with over a 1-week incident, we are in year 2 of this ongoing COVID pandemic. And so we are now looking at ways to continue to practice student-centeredness as we support our students who are navigating college in times of COVID. And so this is a very short article. It shows you what leaders and faculty and staff who are committed to supporting students in that community context did and how they went about it. And it gives us an opportunity to pause and reflect on what our own institution has done to support our students and what we as faculty have done and how we have gone about making the decisions about what to do in ways that promote student-centeredness. The second thing that I'll ask you to do is to read an excerpt of an article, a web-based article by Spencer entitled 4 Approaches to Choice Menus. It's a really excellent piece that gives you more insight on ways to practice student-centeredness within your course. The third thing that I'll ask you to do is to devote 5 minutes viewing a video called Creating a Student-Centered Syllabus, and then to follow that up with an excerpt of another web-based article called The Student-Centered Syllabus by Supiano. Both of those are great resources, companion pieces that really give you insight on ways that you can redesign aspects of your current syllabus or overhaul your syllabus in ways that are much more student-centered than the traditional school of thought that has gone into syllabus construction. The fourth thing that I will ask you to do is to please view a video. It's a little bit less than 6 minutes. It's 5 minutes and 48 seconds, and it's called A Student-Centered Model of Blended Learning. And while this was created by high school educators, it gives us a great model for ways that we can incorporate blended learning in our community college courses. So I encourage you to view this video with curiosity and see if there are any insights that you can glean that might enhance and improve your own instruction. And then as a companion piece to that short video, there is another excerpt from a web-based article called 12 of the Most Common Types of Blended Learning. This was developed, a compilation of resources and ideas and information developed by the staff, the team at teachthought.com. And so once you see that video to get an understanding of what this construct of blended learning refers to, this companion piece article with these 12 different most common types will make a lot of sense to you. And hopefully you'll see some things that look interesting and that you might be interested and willing to experiment with. And then finally, the fifth thing that I will ask you to do is to view a 4-minute video entitled Student-Centered Assessment Jeopardy! And it's an animated parody of the Jeopardy, the popular Jeopardy television game show. And then follow that up by perusing the resources compiled at the website that I've linked for you called Students at the Center Hub. And it's a website devoted to providing educators such as ourselves with resources, information, strategies for promoting and deepening our practice of student-centeredness. So those are the 5 things that I'm asking you to do in the way of input, in the way of looking at research, looking at what practitioners in the field have innovated and looking at how they've benefited from it. Some of those resources that I've outlined share student perspectives on how those resources and strategies have impacted their learning. Once you've done that, once you've completed that input, then it's your turn. I'm going to ask you to design one course feature, a new student-centered course feature. And so in order to do that, I want you to have that information, that input that I just previewed in the background of your mind. And so then step 1, I'm going to ask you to just record notes, whether you are old school and use pen and paper, or whether you're using a digital form of note recording on your computer, tablet, mobile device. Just record notes on, jot down ideas, and they're not for me, they're not for your accountability partners, they're just for you, but your own thoughts about things that you learned, insights that you gained from the 2 surveys. We did a student survey in module 2, and we did a student poll in module 3. And so those 2 data collection exercises required you to do some preliminary analysis. And in that preliminary analysis, you gained some insights that you then came back to our community of practice to report on. And so what I'm asking you to do is recall those insights, and then jot down a few notes about the current challenges that you know your students are experiencing amidst the persisting COVID pandemic. You can also now start to add in your notes some ideas that you have about some possible student-centered solutions to those challenges. You're not going to deal with all of them. I just want you to select one. That's step 3. Select one of those challenges and look at the ideas that you came up with about student-centered solutions to ameliorate those challenges. And so now what I want you to do is focus on that one and design a course feature that has the potential to improve that issue, to ameliorate that challenge for your students. And so again, keeping in mind that our work is focusing on 2 things. We come together because we want to promote greater engagement and greater achievement of our college's disproportionately and historically marginalized students. So based on what's on that piece of paper, those notes about the challenges, your ideas about solutions to challenges, pick the one that you would like to target for this module, for this next 2-week period. And for that one, I want you to come up with a solution. That solution might look like some of these things that you learned in this input. It might look like a revision to your syllabus, making an aspect of your syllabus or the whole syllabus more student-centered. It might look at your assessment, giving your students a different type of assessment based on the resources that you learned when perusing Students at the Center of the Hub. It might look like coming up with a choice menu for a midterm that's coming up or for your final exam. It could look however you decide it should look. But I want you to read the research, view the videos, and then, as desired, engage your accountability partners about your developing ideas about this new information and design one. Don't overwhelm yourself with taking on too much. Pick one challenge, come up with one solution, one proposed solution to that challenge, something that is student-centered that you think can help improve the students who are impacted by that particular issue. Once you've done that, you got that one solution that you have dreamed up, you're going to generate a 400 to 500 word description of that new student-centered course feature. That's the ask. So your 400 to 500 word description is going to tell me how you're modifying that existing syllabus or how you're redesigning that choice menu for your upcoming midterm assignment or whatever it is that you choose to do. You don't have to pick one of those 5 elements. You can pick a completely different element, but you're going to talk about what you're going to do differently, how it's student-centered, and how you hope it will promote your students to have better engagement and or better achievement in whatever aspect of your class you decide to focus on. So the parameters for that 400 to 500 word description are as follows. First, it must identify the problem you're addressing clearly. clearly stated. That can be done in a couple of sentences. And then next, describe in detail your approach toward providing greater support for students in your class who are impacted by that particular problem. This could be something that is targeted for a small subpopulation of your students. It could be something that is going to benefit all students, because even if you're targeting a small population, we know that a rising tide floats all boats. So even though for some students, it's essential that this student-centered new feature be added, all students are going to benefit from it. So you'll talk about that in your 400 to 500 word description. Once you submit your 400 to 500 word description of your new student-centered course feature, I'm going to also ask you to comment on at least one of your colleagues. So as you peruse the entries made by other members of our community of practice, pick at least one to read closely and then offer a 75 or longer word response that offers them some meaningful input. If you think they did something well, talk about what was good about it. If you think that there's a missed opportunity that they might not be seeing and you want to offer them some insight about how they could do something better or differently according to your perspective, feel free to offer that kind of insight as well. Okay, so that's the ask. Input, output. Once you have done that, we will come together a week from today, March 29th, for our 5th Community of Practice meeting focused on Module 4, student-centeredness, and we will share one another's new student-centered course features, and we'll also engage one another about other important business facing us at this juncture in our Introductory Equity course. So thank you for viewing this video. As always, if you have questions, if you want to flesh out your preliminary thoughts, we always encourage you to reach out to your accountability partners and engage in some support with one another. Reach out to our 2 co-leads, Julie and Amir. They stand at the ready to field your questions and offer their insight. Reach out to me as your instructor. It is my honor and privilege to support you in this work. And so I also stand at the ready to field any questions, clarify anything that may need clarification. And even if you just want to give me tidbits of your works in progress, I really enjoy getting emails that give me previews of what folks are submitting prior to submission days in our assignments for each module. So continue to do that as well. I'm here to support you in any way that I can. So looking forward to seeing you all next week at our 5th Community of Practice meeting. And I'll keep my eye on my inbox in case you have any questions or comments to share with me before then. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.